and developed by Source. Source was a company that's had a rather spotty track record. I mean, they were kind of a second party developer for SNK. They handled like ports to like the Super Famicom early on, and then like they started doing their own games for the Neo-Geo. They started with Quiz King of Fighters. They made the two stakes winner games. Those are kind of whatever. Ragnagard was most of the programming was done by a company called System Vision, but they did slap their name on it. And then Pleasure Goal was kind of a bad soccer game. It's ugly as shit and has has problems when you if you play it if you try to play it with another person if they start doing the goalie thing. And then Ironclad didn't even get released on the MVS. That was a Neo CD exclusive. So how they got their shit together and made Shock Troopers is, I don't know how they did it, but I'm glad they did. Gundam Judikai, thank you for the 76 months. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do I rate compared to Metal Slug? Anyway, you can see the story up there. I mean, this game, wild car. This game has like cutscenes between stages. Basic gist of it is the Bloody Scorpion group has kidnapped a doctor, forced him to work on the Alpha 301 drug that's gonna make his soldiers invincible somehow. They're gonna be on PCP or something. And so it's up to the 8 soldiers who get to attack the wicked terrorists. They get to attack them. I've always been a fan of that tagline. That's the art insert that came with MVS things, which has like it's got a little map. It's got the introduction of items. I always call it the red gem, but it's the red diamond. And the flamethrower. They don't even have all the weapons. There's a couple of rare drops that show up in the game that aren't mentioned there. But yeah, this game's whole thing is that you have 8 characters, and the game has a team mode, and you can switch between your characters on the fly. And in the main version of the game, each character like shares their own health bar. There are 2 versions of the game. We will look at both of them. We'll talk about that. This game has a I don't know why there's 2 different versions. I've never figured that out. But that was very confusing to me at the time. Here's some extra artwork of the characters. That was they used this artwork in the MVS sticker, but this came from like an issue of Neo-Geo Freak. That's Milky, Jackal, Southern Cross, and Loki. We'll get into like what all the characters and all that when we get playing. Don't worry. And there's the rest: Rio, Mary B, Big Mama, Maru, and then down at the bottom there's Cecilia and Dr. George. They never call the doctor by name in the game. I think it's just a flyer that says Dr. George. I wish I'd remembered to like get my old capture card working, because the PS3 version there was a version of this game that was released on the PS3, not the Arcade Archives version. There was another version that was released by M2, and that had a manual that was like translated into English, which has some interesting fun facts that I didn't know about. You know how Milky got her name? She really likes Milky Way candy bars. That's apparently canon. Just a little fucking Milky Way. So I wanted to like get pictures of all that, and then I completely forgot. Also, there's this. We need to get a better scan of this picture. This picture was actually. I took this with a camera off my my copy of the Shock Troopers plus Shock Troopers Second Squad soundtrack CD. There's like no other. I don't think there's any other scans of that picture. But that was like some unique art that was only included in that insert. Anyway. Let's play some Shock Troopers. I'm eager to get into it. Oh, wait, hold on. Gotta restart. Hopefully, hopefully I don't have any more OBS crashes. That's what happened a couple weeks ago. But should be good. It's really quiet. MAME is actually remembering the volume setting. Oh, we'll be doing at least a couple plays of this because we need to show off both versions of the game. No, it wasn't muted. It was just very, very low. I never got to hear that intro in the arcade when I saw it because demo sound was turned off. But yeah, we'll get into the two different versions of the game. We are going to start with what I just kind of called version B. There's no official name for the two versions of the game, but this is the more common version. I need to put some better scores on that high score list. All my shit got reset. I don't know why. When did I don't know why I wrote doc. Violence on, please. But yeah, in this version of the game, you can you can set the heroes to 8, which means you can have the entire team with you. But now we're keeping it default. The version in the mini is version B. Alright, let's get it started. Shots are fired using button A. A button is close range attacks. Direction of attacks is locked while button A is going through depression. And the B button is roll. Completely invincible during the roll. You actually move faster when you roll, too. C button is your character's special attack, and then D button is your... Let me make sure my buttons are set, by the way. Okay. D button is your character switch. So you have the choice between Lonely Wolf and Team Battle. In Lonely Wolf, you just get 3 lives. But Team Battle, you can select a team out of the 8 characters. We're gonna go with the old tried and true. So you have 3 different routes you can select from. Each route is completely different in terms of the stages. You're also given the option to switch routes after stage 3 if you decide to switch for whatever reason. Oh man. This isn't gonna be like a full score run. I'm gonna be like doing like some score strats, but not going all out. Oh, the first red gem of the night in the first like 15 seconds. That's pretty good. Red gems are my enemy when I play for score. For just a casual playthrough, it's whatever. But even then, I guess just for survival, like it could also just take away enemies you want to like hit with close range attacks. But yeah, these are the basics of the game. You can you let enemies come to you, and then hit them with Milky's thing is a close range gunshot, but the other characters have like Mary's got a knife stab. And about 80% of the time, they'll drop a blue gem, a blue diamond, which is worth 30,000 points. Also, you're completely invincible when you switch characters, so you can just kind of spam iframes if you want. I'll get to that. We got a lot of things to talk about with this game. Yo, Eb's nerdy. Thank you for the big 76. Oh, shit. I took a hit, but that's alright. Health drops are pretty common when you kill enemies, too, with close range attacks. Usually there'll be, like, a little soft drink that gives you, like, a +8 health. By default, a health bar is, like... Oh my god, second red gem. A health bar is, like, 64 points of life. And so most, every character has, like, different stats in regards to, like, speed and defense and all that shit. Since Milky's a girl, she's fragile, and she has, the lowest defense in the game. She can basically die in 3 hits if you don't get any health in between. Most characters, it takes, like, 4 hits to kill them. Although Big Mama is beefy, she has the highest defense. Yeah, this is kind of a glass cannon team. Kind of. Because both Milky and Mary have, like, the same amount of defense. Also, there's some weird stuff going on here in regards to how fast the characters move. Because Milky and Mary are supposed to have the same, like, base speed. But Milky actually moves faster on this stage. This game has a strange subsystem in which different characters are, like, better for certain stages, for different routes. Like the, I should have shown a picture of what the little sticker that came with the MVS kit. It'll say, like, this character's best suited for jungle, this character's best suited for mountain or whatever. It's actually my, it's actually my channel header on, actually I think it's my channel header on both Twitch and Twitter. And also every character has a different special weapon. Milky has this bomb that extends out in 2 directions, and it's actually one of the there's red gem. It's actually one of the most powerful special weapons in the game. So here's the thing about flamethrowers in video games. They tend to be either really good or really bad. In this game, the flamethrower is fucking god-awful terrible. Doesn't go full screen. When you press the button, there's this weird delay before it reaches, like, max speed. You can't get multiple hits on enemies with it. Like, it's automatically 1 hit and they die. So it's bad for score. It's bad for score, bad for damage. Literally the only good thing about it is that it'll kill enemies that take, like, more than 1 hit, like the purple enemies. It'll kill them in 1 hit. That's literally the only reason you would ever want to use the flamethrower. Do not use the flamethrower in this game. It fucking sucks. Yeah. But yes, I appreciate that, like, there's so many health drops in this game. Oh shit, war crimes. That if you take a hit in this game, it's not a big deal. Like, you can usually recover. Okay, I don't like these enemies. I'm just gonna shoot them. Big dude. Oh, he's dead. That enemy will not drop an item if he's killed with a close-range attack, so... And there's a bomb pickup. Bomb pickups, they almost never appear when you kill enemies with attacks, and they automatically, like, bring you up to max. They're usually, you know, just... They only, they're like fixed drops in stages. Oops. Those guys are just stretching. But yeah, you can get some more enemies to come out here. Nope. 4 red gems in 1 stage. It's a good thing this isn't a score run. There's the yellow gem. Yellow gem gives you invulnerability. Yellow gem's A-okay. There we have the first boss. I got 10 seconds left. It's fine. We are fine. Oop. Maybe I should be using some bombs. There we go. The dude jumps out, he runs away. That's a good point, the Green Herring. The reason, like, yeah, like, this game has such a high meg count for like, the graphics is that they drew the characters in all 8 directions. Like, the facing left and facing right sprites, those are not mirrored. They actually, like, are always, you know, holding the guns in, like, their right arm or whatever. So you'll see it there. So there's a lot of attention to detail that you don't really notice immediately. Is there any practical difference between the heavy machine gun and the Vulcan? The Vulcan uses its ammo a lot faster. It's like better DPS. The Vulcan's definitely a better gun than the heavy machine gun. The New World Order. Volume's good, right? I'm trying to make sure the the jams are coming through nice and loud without drowning me out. This is very important for this game. So this stage is the beginning of the stage is an auto-scroller. There's a couple auto-scrollers like this. This is a unique motorcycle section that doesn't show up in any other route. And even though you don't really have a roll, if you press the B button, she headbangs, and that counts as dodging bullets. So you still have access to a dodge. And because this game, like, you know, has the whole dodge mechanic, that means, like, there's nothing in this game that's, like, 100% cheap and unavoidable. Like, anything that comes at you, you can, if you have the skill, you can dodge it. Nothing's gonna, like, completely screw you over. And I respect that greatly. Mid-boss. Not the stage boss, just the mid-boss. Switch to Mama here because she has a... Her gun fires 2 shots at once. That's actually more damage than Milky's default gun. And that's the importance of having a big character on your team. That's one of the reasons why team mode is so good in this game compared to Lonely Wolf. Oh, here's the banger. Little dynamite selection each and every time, yeah? I know, I gotta tell my story of, like, my first encounter with this game, don't I? Oh, that was a bad roll. So the enemies in this game have a lot of them have very fixed patterns. Like, these guys will just fire, like, 1 shot every few seconds, so you can kind of gauge your distance, figure out when to roll. Those guys fire 1 shot, then charge at you. Some enemies will have, like, kind of random behavior. The purple guys in particular, which we haven't seen any of, but they'll show up on the next stage. Ooh, a bomb drop! That's a super rare SSR 5-star pull. Can't really route this game around, like, expecting to get a bomb drop from a close-range kill, so... There's also a hyper gun that sometimes shows up when you kill enemies with close-range shots. You might not see that. Although I think there's one you can pick up on the next stage. I'm sorry, I just love this music too much. I feel like a doofus for talking over the music. Is the timer an issue? If you're not playing for score, the timer's never an issue in this game. Or at least it shouldn't be. Maybe on the next stage if you take it really slowly. If you have bad luck with the mid-boss. Watch it with your style. I keep falling into my score play habits where I, like, wait around for more enemies to show up. It's hard to break. I disagree with that, Mr. Energy. Jelly belly, jelly, watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it. JCW knows. Oh man. I'm just sorry. I'm just thinking of something funny I heard the other day. Anyway, second boss. So it's always a good idea to switch to your big character on bosses, because when you run out of ammo, that means you've got your double shot gun instead of the single shot. And if I take a hit, like she'll actually take a lot less damage than Milky would. Oh yeah, we should talk about ports at some point. The Arcade Archives port is good. It's got everything except, like, net play. It's got leaderboards. And it, plays 100% fine, no input lag. No additional input lag, I should say. If you value the girl's life, you'd better start working on the Alpha 301 now, my dear doctor. Oh, you can't buy the PS3 version anymore, though. They delisted it. Unfortunately. Oh, it does say his name, George. Yeah, okay. He doesn't have a last name, it's just George. Oh man, Cozy, 50% off. So I'm gonna be using Mama for like most of the stage because, like I said, Mama gets like a speed boost in this stage compared to everybody else. Like if I switch to Milky, she's moving around the same speed. So you might as well just use a character that, you know, if you take a hit, it's not really a big deal. Like that. That was like a little less than 25%. And there's plenty of health pickups on the stage. Those enemies don't drop items when they're killed with a close range attack. So yeah, I should talk about my first experience with this game. Because I remember it fondly. It was at an arcade in San Antonio, called Diversions. They had it was like a chain of arcades in San Antonio. I was living in Austin at the time, and San Antonio was like an hour away. And I wanted to go check out the arcades there. And so I drove down there, like, it was either like February or March of 1998. I drove down there hoping that Metal Slug 2 was out. Like, I knew they had lots of Neo-Geo games, so I thought, like, yeah, maybe they've gotten Metal Slug 2. I don't think Metal Slug 2 was actually out at the time yet. I later found out, but Diversions was a cool arcade because, you know, there were like five or six locations around San Antonio, and every single one of them had like 2 different 6-slot cabinets. They all had 2 6-slot MVS cabinets, and they had a deal there where for $10 you got 100 tokens, and all the Neo Geos were 1 token a play, so it was basically 10 cents a play. That's pretty cheap. What's up, Manicate? And so they had they were actually like keeping those MVSs like updated with like new stuff. It was the first place I saw. It's the only place I've seen like Neo Mr. Do in an actual cabinet. Like I kind of assumed like Neo Mr. Do like didn't come out because like nobody talked about it. It was just, you know, who gives a shit. But there it was on a 6-slot in a Diversions arcade, and I think that same 6-slot had a game called Shock Troopers in it. Now, at the time, I was, like, this was 1998. Like, the internet was kind of a smaller place. Like, you didn't have YouTube, you didn't have streams. There wasn't really, there weren't really many web forums yet. So, like, the main place to, like, talk about, like, Neo Geo stuff, there was, like, a dedicated mailing list. for Neo-Geo games, but like, I don't know, it kind of sometimes like if you wouldn't be finding like in-depth. Oh, here's a new weapon, the rocket launcher. You wouldn't be finding like in-depth discussions about stuff. Like a lot of the mailing lists with people like looking for games to buy and sell or whatever. But every now and then like people would talk about games there. And so the only I'd read like one message from somebody on that mailing list saying like they played Shock Troopers and they didn't like it. They thought the graphics were bad. And that's all I knew about the game. Oh, Afro Man, rare drop. Yeah, I think they said something like, this game looks like shit compared to Metal Slug. Which, I mean, Metal Slug is pretty detailed, but they were being very superficial and just mentioning the game was bad because the graphics were bad. So I saw this in that 6-slot cabinet. Oh, there's a hidden weapon here. Here's the hypergun. And, I hadn't seen any video of what the game looked like, and so I see it running, and I'm like, oh, it's a top-down shooter. It's like, it brought back memories of like Time Soldiers and Heavy Barrel and LSA Squad, all that stuff. Hills 2, thank you for the 23 months. I'm gonna save this hypergun for the boss. So I've always been a fan of those top-down shoot 'em up, not really shoot 'em up, top-down run and gun games. So it's like, yeah, I want to play this. And so I ended up credit feeding like all the way through it. Although I think I only used like 4, maybe 5 continues. Mr. Saturn, thank you for the 21 months, by the way. Thank you for the resub. I think I used like 4 continues. I'm pretty sure my score ended in a 0-4. And like over the course of the game, like I was starting to get used to the the control scheme and figuring out how you do close range attacks against enemies. They drop items, so I could see like what the strats were for like score. And understanding like how to use the roll button. Like I'm like, yeah, okay, I can see this like being 1CCable. Like even back then, like I liked going for 1CCs and all that. It wasn't as big a thing. Oh god. Yes, it was now, but yeah, I had fun with it. Took like 4 continues to finish it, and I remember like my final score was like 10.7 million or something, and the high score in the cabinet was 10.9 million. They probably used more continues than me, but I was like, damn. If I had gotten more close range kills, I could have gotten the high score, but I walked away from it. I had a positive opinion of it. I was like, yeah, I would definitely play through that again. I didn't play through it again immediately because I wanted to play other stuff, wanted to check out the other arcades in San Antonio, the other diversions. But I was like, yeah, it's a fun game. Of course, the thing about that first trip is that I didn't really hear the music at all. I've talked about this before, but those big red 4-slot and 6-slot cabinets, when they came out in the U.S., they have a headphone slot underneath, along with the memory card slot, and so you could plug headphones into an arcade cabinet. And not many people did that, but I always thought it was a fun thing to do. It's a neat novelty to play Magician Lord and hear the tunes. I remember doing that with my old Game Boy headphones or earphones. And so I made a mental note to like bring those same old like Game Boy earphones like the next time I went to the arcade. And I was like, yeah, let's play Shock Troopers again. Let's try a different route. And boy, once I could hear the music in this game, like it just blew my mind. Because it's like the drum and bass soundtrack was like, it was unlike anything else like in a in video games at the time. Like, maybe there were some other games that had, like, a track or two, but this game's, like, entire soundtrack was just, you know... It just fucking... It blew me away. And so basically it got to the point where I enjoyed the game, but I was motivated to play the game just because I wanted to keep listening to the music. And so I made, like... I made multiple trips to San Antonio. Maybe not to just play Shock Troopers, but that was a big priority. And I always made sure to, like, just play through Shock Troopers, and I was like, I don't know, like, how many attempts it took me to, like, get the 1cc, but I did figure it out, like, within, like, I don't know, at least a few trips. Because, like, once I realized, you know, how good the roll button was, and all that. Oh, I like drum and bass. I don't really listen to it that much, but I just think the tracks in this game are just some of the best use of it in a video game. But yeah, drum and bass is awesome. I really should listen to more of it. But yeah, that pretty much got me started on, like, wanting to, you know, get the 1 credit clear on this, and then once I did, like, I wanted to get higher scores, like, because I think, like, the first time I 1cc'd it, my score was, like, it was, like, either, like, 13 or 14 million, about what my score is right now. And I just kind of kept playing the game. Like, I kept figuring out, like, other things I could do to, like, get more points. I figured out that, like, you know, you stall in certain areas, you get more enemies to come out. And so little by little, it felt like every time I played the game, like, I was learning something new about what I could do to, like, get more points. And so my high score would get up to, like, 16 million, 17 million. I think by the time you could, like, run this in Neo-Rage, because this was, like, this was the other thing. Around the time this game came out, like, that's around the time, like, Neo-Geo emulation, like, was actually becoming a thing. Face reveal. I've been doing face reveal for, like, a week. Where have you been? It was in, like, the spring of '98. Like, that's when Neo-Geo emulation, like, started, like, taking off. But, of course, those early emulators didn't have sound. And I guess the whole thing was, like, Neo-Rage was, like, was the only emulator for a little bit. Before, like, MAME started adding support for it. And that first version of Neo-Rage, those first versions of Neo-Rage didn't have sound either. And also, it didn't support everything. Because they needed, like, they needed more games to be dumped. And I think it was Romlist, that Swedish duo that ended up like dumping Shock Troopers. But when Shock Troopers was dumped, like it wasn't like supported in Neo-Rage yet. We had to like wait for a new version to like officially support it, and that took like another month or so, at least another month. Yeah, I had to mirror the camera because otherwise, like I'm looking the other way, and it looks weird. I need a better camera setup. Of course, the thing about that version of Shock Troopers that got dumped was, as I later found out, it was version A. But we'll talk about version A later. Oh man, the Ultimo! Gifting out 5 subs. That's very kind of you. Oh god. I hope he's not dying in the sewers. Okay, switch that. Should be able to take a hit now. Oop. There's actually 2 paths here. One up, one to the right. What version I play in San Antonio? Every time I've ever seen this game in an arcade, it's always been this version, the version where you have like 3 lives. I have never seen version A in an arcade. And to this day, like, I've never actually played that version on an actual cabinet. And like I've had two different like MVS cartridges, and they were both version B. That's the other thing. Like back in like 1999, I ended up like buying a cheap like converted one-slot cabinet from South Texas Vending, because I just wanted to have a cabinet at home. I don't have the cabinet anymore, but I do have like I did end up, you know, buying a ton of MVS cards, and I still have those cards. I just wanted to continue my pursuit of like getting as high a score as possible on cabinet, because like by the time, you know, emulation was a thing, like I was starting to break like 20 million, and it would just keep going up like 21, 22. And on cabinet, like I kept raising it higher and higher. And eventually, like I kind of like topped out at, I think like 29.5 million. Like that was my high score for a while. And I couldn't figure out like how to get like any higher than like 29.5 million. It was hard like just to break 29 million. Like I had so many scores in the 28 million range, and it was hard to break 30. But at that point, like I'd spent so much time with the game, like I'd been looking for like any sort of resources, like anybody else who was like playing this game for score. Because like I said, this was before YouTube, this was before Twitch. You couldn't find this information as widely spread. And so I ended up asking somebody who was on the MARP forums, Japanese player, who had a bunch of like old issues of Gamest and Neo-Geo Freak. What the Japanese world record was on Shock Troopers. Chubo, thank you for the 75 months. What's Maru doing in the Daily Zone? So I asked him what the high score was, what the Japanese record was, and it was 31.3 million. And I'm like, fuck, you mean I don't have the highest score after all the time I put into this game? And I went back to it and tried to like, you know, figure out like what I could possibly be missing. And I couldn't figure it out. Eventually I discovered that like if you play this on like the European BIOS, like it defaults to blood off. Like I have blood turned on right now. Like you can see some violent deaths sometimes when I shoot enemies. And that guy got his just died in a blood spurt. When you have blood turned off in this game, it actually has a huge impact on scoring. Because every time you shoot an enemy, like they're worth a base value of points. Like these purple soldiers are worth 5,000 points per shot. And if you do a close range attack, they're worth double whatever the base shot is. So you get 10,000 for a close range attack, but 5,000 for each time you shoot them. So when blood's turned off, you can shoot an enemy up to 13 times before they drop. So that one enemy, you shoot them 13 times, you get 65,000 points. And if you're able to like combine it, you know, shoot them 12 times and then do a close range attack, that's 60,000 plus 10,000. That gives you 70,000. And if they drop the blue gem, that's an extra 30,000. So there's a lot of technique involved in going for score. And so I started playing with blood off, and I was able to like I was able to beat that 31 million. I ended up like you know, just trying to see like how far I could get with blood off, and I got it up to like 37.6 million. Shoot the fire hydrant. And like I thought like, okay, I've got the world record now, but in actuality it wasn't the default, because I'm pretty sure that that old Japanese record was done with blood on. I have no proof of it, but I have to assume. I have to assume it had blood turned on, but but I was still searching for like what I could do differently, how I could get more points, and I didn't figure that out until like 2007. A barcade here called Ground Control ended up getting a 4-slot cabinet. Almost a fantastic 4-slot. It had this, King of Fighters 98, Blazing Star. That's 3 out of 4 bangers. And then the last game was Metal Slug 3. But I was so motivated when I saw like just seeing like Shock Troopers in an arcade again. I was like, man, I should start playing this for score again. Gotta shoot that fire hydrant. And wouldn't you know it, like I think like one of the first credits I played on that cabinet, I figured out the one thing I was missing in terms of playing this game for. Actually, there were 2 things I was missing, but I missed like one of the major things, and that is when you're in the stages that have water, like the previous sewer stage. Man, so many red gems. Bloody animations don't play. So you're always guaranteed to be able to shoot an enemy 13 times. So that just completely changed, like, how many points were like, available on that stage. And then, like, the very next day, like, I just fired up MAME and, like, started playing with Blood on, using this knowledge. And I think, like, within, like, an hour or two, like, I'd gotten, like, 31.4 million. Like, I'd officially beaten the old Japanese record. Of course, the other thing I learned is that you can also get extra time if you sacrifice one of your teammates in team mode, which you can't do in version A, by the way. And so a strategic sacrifice of a team member on the sewer stage seemed like the best way to get extra points, and so combining those 2 things, I was officially beating the world record, and until somebody proves otherwise, I do have the highest score in the world in this game. 32,711,13 something. Now I don't remember the exact score, but I did stream it on Twitch like 5 years ago. I remember it was Christmas 2017. Oh, that's a bad spot for this guy. Fancy rolling. Also, one thing I didn't mention with this game and playing for score, whenever you get to these human enemies, you always want to kill them with a close range attack because that gives you double score. And this guy's worth 500,000 points, so you get 1,000,000 points. And he's guaranteed to drop a first aid kit, which gives you a full heal. So I'm gonna let this guy do his thing. Make sure he's not like partially off screen. There we go. So you get 1,000,000 and a full heal. But yes, I have the highest proven score on this. I also have the I'm not much of a speedrunner, but I made it a point to do some speedruns of this. And I've got the highest, like, any percent and 1cc runs of this. If it's Shock Troopers related, I need the record. That's just my thing. Shit. Yeah, good luck with that, Mr. Energy. Good luck. Because like I said, I was never able to, like, when I was doing all my, just figuring out everything I figured out in this game was all me. Because I couldn't find, like, anybody to, like, you know, play this game alongside me and go for score. Nobody seems to enjoy, like, playing this for score like I do. No, I don't have any 2-player records. I guess there are 2-player records on speedrun.com. I think that right, Jen. I have all the solo records in there. Yeah, I just need a clone. One thing I haven't done that I've wanted to do is like finish this game with one hand. Like just have the one hand controlling joystick and buttons, but I need a different stick because like the buttons are like kind of far apart on the Hori stick. I can't really quite reach it. Some sticks have like the buttons closer. And then if I could ever do like one of those dual play things, like one hand on each joystick and do a double play run. Some Japanese player did that with Second Squad. And that's actually more impressive than than this game. This Second Squad is bullshit. Things I want to do, but haven't done. Anyway, yeah, this is the last stage. The last stage is always the same. I don't really know much about doing passes. I've never really done one. It'd be funny to manipulate one so you just get like as many 30,000 point gems as possible. Make sure every enemy gets killed, like, gets hit 12 times plus a close range attack and all that. Yeah, don't worry. We'll talk about Second Squad when we come to it. It's actually not that far off. It's 1998. I like having Mary here just to, Oh, I forgot to switch. Oh, she doesn't have bombs. What am I doing? I used all the bombs. Should have saved one or two. Alright, there he is, the leader of the Bloody Scorpion group. He's a big laugher. Oops, come on, face to the right. Switch back to Mama. Also, this game does have survival-based rank. And like the longer your credit goes on, like the harder the game gets. If you're at low rank here, when he does that attack where he shoots like the hidden missiles up into the air, at low rank he fires like a lot less missiles. Like this is pretty much like max rank. Unfortunately, it's random whether he decides to do the spread shot or the knife stab, the sword stab. We did it. Like, I haven't done this, like, at least a couple hundred times. Like, I wish I'd been tracking, like, how many times I've 1cc'd this, but it's well above 200. Maybe about 300. I played this game a lot. And like 90%, probably 95% of the runs are, yeah, on the Jungle Valley route, because that is the best route for score. I think with the hero count higher, like it will actually like cycle through everybody. I think I did try that once. One thing I didn't like when I played this game for score, though, if I was playing this in the arcade and I don't have an emulator speed up button. You can't skip this damn ending. You can skip the staff roll once you get to it, but you can't skip this part. So you'd have to sit through this to put in your initials. It's It's exactly like House of the Dead 1. How many times I've had to sit through that, just waiting to put in my initials. Stream of how many 1cc's of this I can do in a row. I have, not quite that, but there's something else I want to do this, like, on Thursday this week. I'll talk about that later. Of course, I'll let the staff roll play out this time. What I did on my summer vacation. BGD Zinners. It's a lot of English in here. Programmers. Masaki Kase, the god. He worked on Viewpoint, too. And of course, the voice of the enemy commander was Meijin Takahashi, Mr. 16 Shot himself. Why they got him to do the voice, I'm not sure, but apparently that's him. Pooh! Dum. Yeah, that is pretty hilarious. So that's version B. I should definitely show off version A. Like, this is the, whoa. Jackal, get off my screen. I hit escape. Jackal, what are you doing? There we go. So for the longest time, this was not set 2. This was set 1 in MAME for fucking decades, I think. It wasn't until like I think I managed to talk Kale until like into changing the what was set 1 and what was set 2 in MAME, because from everything we've seen, like set 2 is the more common version, or not set 2. Version B is the more common version. Let's make sure I have this set. Yeah, we'll leave violence off just to show the difference in score, sure. But see, note how it doesn't have a hero setting. In version B, there's a thing here where you can change the number of lives. You can't do that in this version because you only have 1 life. And so, yeah, when that new version of Neo Rage came out, that officially supported Shock Troopers, like I was so excited to be able to play this at home, even though that version didn't have sound yet. And so I start the game up. Let's play some bros. And so now we got this new thing on the map select screen where you've got like a medal ranking for every route. That tells you like if they get like any speed bonuses on that stage, and that also gives you a health bonus because like for whatever reason you don't start with a full health bar in this game. Oh, I want to do mountain route. Because see, it starts like 3/4 of the way up at like 96 out of 128. And then the getting two stars gives you like a +8. I think when you continue, you have like 110. So basically, you have 1 life. You have 1 life, but the health bar is doubled. So a health bar is 128 points instead of 64 points. But that also means that when you switch characters, the health bar is the same. which doesn't really make much sense. But at the very least, this means that, you know, you play, if you play in team mode, like, each character has their own set of, like, special weapons. If you play in Lonely Wolf, yeah, you only have one life. And so you only have, like, one set of bombs. Oh, that seems a little loud. And so the first time, like, I fired the game up in Neo Rage, I was like, wait, what is all this shit? And then I just figured, okay, well, if I go into the soft dips, I can probably set it to 3 lives mode I was playing in the arcade, but can't do that. Like, it's an actual change in the program ROMs. And so as far as I can tell, like, this seems to be like an earlier version of the game. Because the screenshots in Neo-Geo Freak showed this version of the game. You can tell which version it is because the portraits at the top left are like grayed out when you're not picking them. On version B, like, it doesn't show them grayed out; it just shows the other two characters. So everybody just kind of assumed like this version was like the more common version, and that's why like in MAME and all those other emulators, like this was the parent version, and that's the version that showed up on awful things like the .emu port and all that, because they just assumed, oh, this is the standard version of the game. So of all the research I've done, like I was like asking around on like the Neo-Geo forum, like if anybody like had cartridges of this, because usually these cartridges have like serial numbers on them. Some arcades would actually like scratch off the serial number to like I don't remember the reason why, but but basically like every like I've had a couple cartridges of this that were the serial number was like above 10,000. I don't know if that means like they actually, I would assume like, yeah, they sold like more than 10,000 cartridges of this. But like the people who had like version A, like those were somebody posted one and it was the serial number was in like the 2000s or whatever. So yeah, it does seem like version B was like a more common version, or like a later version. And like I said, any time I've like seen it, I've seen this game like in the wild in an actual arcade. It's always been the 3 lives version. And it seemed like the version A cartridges were like primarily sold in Europe. Like most of the owners, like they were either like somewhere in Europe. Like the cartridge that Romulus dumped, like they were based in Sweden, so it kind of tracks. And so that's as far as I've figured out in regards to like what the deal is with version A and version B. But it is like an actual change in the program ROM, so you can't actually like switch it back and forth. And like version B like didn't it wasn't dumped for like a couple of years at least. Like it wasn't until like sometime in like 2000 nobody had bothered to like dump a cartridge of the 3 lives version, but because that version was like dumped later, like yeah, they just assumed like this is not the main version. The other version's the main version, but I've always preferred version B because, you know, it makes it feel more like a team game with everybody having their own health bar. Like if one character's low on health, you switch out, wait to find some health, and then switch back in. Like it's a little more strategy to it. And also if you are foolhardy enough to play this game in Lonely Wolf mode, it's way more advantageous to have 3 lives than it would be to have just 1 life in Lonely Wolf mode. So if you play this version on Lonely Wolf mode, you're fucking up. It is 1CCable, but you're just making things harder on yourself. I feel like people, like, avoid team mode because, like, I don't know, there's, like, this expectation that they're gonna have to, like, learn 3 different characters like KOF, but it's just an overhead run and gun. It's not like they have, like, different movesets or anything. They've got, like, a different special weapon. They might have, like, different speed stats or whatever. I mean, I admit, like, the first time I played this, I did pick Lonely Wolf Milky. I do remember that. It wasn't until later I realized, like, the advantages of team mode. It's not immediately obvious. But yeah, my recommendation if you play team mode is obviously you usually want to have, at the minimum, you want to have one big character. One character with a double shotgun. Either a Southern Cross or Big Mama. Maru has a double shotgun too, but his stats are a little different. Like, he moves faster, but he has lower defense. Oh yeah, the dodge button when you're on the ropes just means you jump off it, which is kind of weird. Alice Opiate! Thank you for the 26 months. But at least in, like, every part of this game, like, you have a dodge. So again, that hit I took, that was my fault. So we're gonna switch to Southern Cross because he has more defense and a double shotgun. He throws up Boomerang, which it's pretty decent damage. There's a bomb pickup on the next stage, so. Also, this is a boss we did not see in the Jungle Valley route. One complaint some people have leveled with this game is the boss types get reused a bit. But that's because, like, there's 17 unique stages. Like, there's 15 different stages before the final stage, and then one, you know, one regular, like, route switch stage. And so they didn't go all out, like, making, like, 17, like, different bosses. Because a lot of them wouldn't be seen, like, in that one play. There's a special cutscene here if you have Jackal in your team, by the way. But yeah, 5 stages on Jungle Route, 5 stages on Mountain, 5 stages on Valley. That only plays with Jackals in the party. Switch to... Loki gets, like, he gets 2 stars on every stage in, like, the full mountain route, so he's a good character for getting speed boosts. That's another speed boost. Speed boosts are not very common in this game. It's a flamethrower enemy. They don't know how to fire it from the side. Yeah, a first aid kit. Unfortunately, the flamethrower guys don't drop items when they're killed. Also, the 3-way gun is amazing for damage. The Buster gun I have here, you can't get, like, multiple shots on enemies, but it does, like, kind of one-shot every normal human enemy. Another bomb drop. Oh yeah, I have blood turned off, so yeah, like, I can just shoot, like, every enemy 13 times and they just drop. It does make the game easier to play for score if you're just, you know, shooting enemies one at a time like this. I think the scoring is more interesting with blood turned on, so that you have more incentive to go in for close range attacks. The fart gas. Slurp gas. This is actually my least favorite track in the game. It just kind of doesn't go anywhere. Like, every other track in this game is like an 11 out of 10. But this is like a... This is like a 5 out of 10. It all averages out to 10 out of 10 in the end, though. A lot of bomb drops on the mountain route. This is the speedrun route, by the way. Also, here's another boss we didn't see. The killer forklift. Oh, he did... I didn't give bombs to Southern Cross. What the fuck am I doing? There are all these bomb drops and I didn't give them to him. That's fine. There's probably one on the next stage. We'll do this the long way. And of course, we gotta fight the human boss. I'm gonna actually take some damage here because, you know, you can get the you can get a first aid kit when you kill this guy with a close range attack anyway. So I just want to show. Get the bar down like below half. That's good. Give me one more. That's too much. So of course, because the health bar is 128 points, that only restores plus 64. This is a Neo-Geo game? Yeah. Like I haven't been singing the praises of the game. So if you don't switch routes after stage 3, you actually skip the stage where you're on a train. Which is another thing you can do for speed purposes. Just can't let them get away with it. Gung-ho! So yeah, there's some special dialogue for whichever character you have selected first there. Or selected going into the stage 4. Is this another point where I have to kill the guy who's like... I have to kill the guy trying to warm himself up to advance the screen? It's like that on the final stage. Okay, Southern Cross, you need bombs. You need some boomerangs. Oh yeah, I'm remembering the speedrun thing here. But we're not speedrunning now. Because yeah, I did, I wanted to get the any % speedrun a little while back. I actually streamed that like a month or two ago. Any %'s weird because like you're taking damage on purpose to like credit speed faster. Related question in the middle of shock troopers? This better be good. Shit. I need to get health back. Red jetpack assholes! Oh. I kinda took a lot of damage there. Keep Southern Cross around a bit, just in case I take damage. There we go. Doing those jelly-filled donuts. Yeah, double donuts! I think I despawned an enemy there. If there are any other Shock Troopers questions, I'm happy to answer them. What have I not talked about? What's up, Josh? The most and least used characters overall? I have no idea. Like, I kind of assume, like, Milky gets picked a lot, because she's Milky. But as for the least used, I don't know. I feel like people might shy away from, like, Maru. Why is my YouTube called Second Squad? Because my original account got banned. Maybe Southern Cross wouldn't get, like, picked that often either. Yeah, my account got banned because Avex didn't like me putting Running in the 90s on one of those old those Street Fighter 4 input display videos. Camera's off. That's good. Alright. So yeah, the original, like, pie-ass video and all that was... It was uploaded, like, before that, but I had to, like, re-upload them. Oh man, the scaling on those bombs! Amazing. Does the game have any good ports? That's a good question. So, you can buy the Arcade Archives port on Switch, PS4, Xbox One. I think it's on the Windows 10 store also. Avoid the port of this on Steam that has .mu in the developer or publisher. Do not buy any Neo-Geo ports that have .mu as the publisher, because they are bad. They are awful. I did a stream way back when it came out. I have a Steam review of it too. That I remember I had to like I had to like edit it down like 4 or 5 times because it was too long because I was complaining about everything. It is awful. It drops frames. It sounds like shit. It has input lag. The difficulty selections don't do anything. It's version A, and you don't even have the option of version B. If you want a good port of this, buy the Arcade Archives version. And yeah, it got like a... There was a port on PS3, but it's been delisted. It got delisted when Arcade Archives was a thing. There was also the SNK Arcade Classics thing that was on, like, PSP or whatever, but that has problems. It's not a perfect port. That's kind of the, that's also, like, one of the things that was always, like, a big shame about this game is that, like, when it came out, Like it didn't even like get a release on Neo-Geo home cartridge. It didn't get a Neo CD release. Is it feasible to kill almost everything with melee attacks? You can't kill these enemies with. You can't kill the big tank with melee attacks, unfortunately. Everything else, though, yeah, for the most part. But there's melee attacks do not trigger when you're if it's not a human enemy. Shit. Gotta get rid of this part ASAP. Ah! Alright, I gotta be careful. Didn't want to risk going for close range shots on those guys. Alright, get to the other side. No health drops. Ah. I was going to do the spread shot. Uh-oh. I rolled off the enemy. That was good. One thing I appreciate about this game is that there's no contact damage from running into enemies. Shit. Hold on. Oh, there we go. I need that. Okay. So, would I ever consider a Shock Trooper's tattoo? I have no tattoos. I would probably never get a tattoo myself unless I lost a really bad bet. I make my own Shock Troopers game someday, like Doc Mack and Dark Presence. Who knows? Who knows? I'm not much of a game developer. I don't know enough about that stuff. But I always think the world could always use more of these games. More top-down running guns. Gotta be one of my favorite genders. Oh yeah, I have an old website that was supposed to that I wanted to like kind of turn it into a guide for this game, but I kind of lost interest, and I never like finished it because I figured like nobody cares. It's called Shock Therapy. I have an old link to it on my website. That was like 20 years ago. God, I wanted to like Xenocrisis, but it does so many things wrong. We may eventually like look at that if we do like a bonus stream at some point of like homebrew stuff on the Neo-Geo hardware. Which we probably will, near like the end of the run. Okay, there's no more health drops after this, so... Get to it, Southern Cross. No, Second Squad did not come out chronologically after this. That's going to be at least a few streams off. That came out at like the end of '98. And there's some other stuff we'll have to look at first. This stream is basically... I didn't put the year in the title because I just put Shock Troopers. This stream is like the last 3 games of 97, and then 98 starts on the next Neo Rank Master stream, and like the next couple Neo Rank Master streams are like also pretty fucking stacked. We're doing some pretty major games. 98's like a pretty big year. It's a year of flip shot. Okay. Oh yeah, I didn't even like really talk about like. I think I got sidetracked when I started like talking about like making a team in this game. Like you always want one big character, usually like one speedy character, and then pick a character that like hopefully gets a good star ratings on whatever route you're doing, or just pick somebody who has like a good bomb like Milky. Because otherwise, like it's hard to rank the characters because I mean a lot of them. It usually comes down to like what their special weapon is like, and that's why we make so many jokes about Jackal, because he has the worst special weapon. I've barely even used it. It's that grenade he throws. It does like it does the least amount of damage. You get more of them. In team mode, you get 15 of them instead of 10, but they don't really do much. He's just throwing water balloons at the enemies. That's another thing I didn't mention. There is one other change between Lonely Wolf and team mode. In Lonely Wolf, you get a higher bomb max. If I was playing Loki in Lonely Wolf, he gets 15 bombs instead of 10. Jackal gets 20 bombs instead of 15. The only other character has a different number of bombs. Big Mama defaults to 8 in team mode, and she has 10 in Lonely Wolf. I guess they thought her bomb was way too powerful, but it's not that great. I had to get that close range kill. Even if it's not a score run, I gotta get that 800,000 times 2. So yeah, version A it's definitely a little bit harder if you're going for a 1cc. But not impossible like some people would try to tell you. Oh, bonus cutscene. Mwah. And he's carrying her. Oh, you actually hear a little bit more of the music here because it takes a little longer for the helicopter to show up. Yeah, Jackal's gotta get carried. Ew, girls have cooties. But yeah, can't skip this ending. You will get like different pictures at the very end, but that's it. Yeah, I had to wear this shirt for Neo Rank Masters Day. Get on the boat and never come back, Jackal. Very introspective endings. Everybody just kind of looking up at stuff. All right, I can skip the credits now. If you game over like on an earlier stage, like if you game over before stage 3, then like the you'll hear the voice sample of the boss of that stage laughing at you instead. Another fun fact for you. He's not a chef, that's Dr. George. He was developing the ultimate drug for the Bloody Scorpion group against his will. Why they kidnap the girl too? I don't know. Just to rub it in. Just kill the whole family. Or not kill, kidnap the whole family. You're a bit late, good guy. I've been playing for like an hour and a half. I could play for another hour and a half, though. What's my personal ranking for the 3 routes? Well, if you're playing for score, Jungle first half, Valley second. That's obviously the best scoring route. I think for survival, like I do kind of think just going mountain twice is probably the easiest. Maybe mountain jungle. I think the second half of jungle isn't that bad. Did I ever play as player 2 for the different uniforms? Yeah, I don't really do that much. Because yeah, if you play on player 2 side, you get pink milky. Yeah, they all have different palettes. A lot of pinks and pastels. Oh yeah, the health bar starts like a little higher in Lonely Wolf mode in this version. Did I ever play on Neo-Rage X emulator in 2002? I played on Neo-Rage not X in 1998. I've been using emulators for a long time. Yeah, before Neo-Rage X there was regular Neo-Rage. It didn't have a graphical user interface, it didn't have sound. So this game didn't get a home cartridge release, but they do program in like a home mode, and all it has is difficulty selection. No other extras. 4 credits to start, nothing else. Obviously, there is a home mode programmed in, but it did not get a home cart release. It did not get a CD version. And that was so frustrating to me at the time, because, you know, there was... if they had, like, released a port of this for, like, the Saturn or PlayStation, I would have bought it. Day one. And there was no port of this for the longest time until, like... SNK Arcade Classics or whatever it was, and it was... it was not a great port. Like, it doesn't play some of the voices, it has slowdown. The Ultimate, thank you for the 100 bits. But yeah, we were talking earlier about Neo-Rage, the original Neo-Rage. I think what I want to do, like at some point, is see if I can get all those old emulators running in DOSBox and just and just go through the dark days of Neo-Geo emulation. That'd be fun. Actually, it wouldn't be that fun because you wouldn't have sound. Because, like I said, sound in Neo-Geo emulators was not a thing until... MAME was actually the first emulator to have sound, and like it was just like partial sound emulation. Like it didn't have all the channels there. And I think like a couple months later they got everything else added. And then they found out a new problem with a lot of these games, Shock Troopers included. Whoever dumped the ROMs like didn't properly dump the sound ROMs, and so like there was a lot of corrupted data. So like a lot of cartridges had to be redumped to like get the proper sound ROM. So by the time they had like good sound in MAME, Shock Troopers was one of the games that didn't sound right. So we had to wait for somebody else to redump the sound ROMs. And I think that was probably like a few months later. Because I think it was like end of '98 when like sound like started becoming a thing, and then like Neo-Ajax was like. When did Neo-Ajax come out? That was like '99, right? A lot of people had experience with Neo-Ajax, it seems. The Ultimo, thank you for the 100 bits. I don't remember like a lot of those like really glitchy like NES and Super Nintendo emulators. I fucked around with some of them, but I was always more interested in arcade stuff anyway. Anyway, oh, it's on the wrong mode. Let me reset that. Oh no, workaround error. Give me that good music. There we go. I'm sorry to hear that, Nintendo, but this isn't the place to be like dumping these things. What do you want me to do? Anyway, we need to rank this game. Make sure this isn't too loud. Yeah, it's pretty good. Oh yeah, Rio's ass. Okay, where's the... There it is. Why isn't my hotkey working? Alright, I gotta bring the spreadsheet up manually, I guess. OBS might have done something to my, my hotkey. Alright. Alright, done and done. See you later, everybody. Bye!
Congratulations, you won. Your fighting skills are superior.
No, the music's still going. Okay. This is #1 in my heart. It's #1 in my heart. Alright. I've been waiting a year to make that joke. I really have. I mean, in my heart, Shock Troopers is #1, but I know... I know for most people, it's hard to justify, like, putting it above Metal Slug, because Metal Slug, you know, had a bigger impact on the Neo-Geo. It's more fun to some people. I think Shock Troopers is more fun to play for score, though. Alright, well, we're seeing a lot of support for top 3, at least. That at least makes me happy. We're probably going to have to put this to a poll. $50-something? Yeah, so what do we got here? We got, Metal Slug's at #1. KF 97's at #2. KF 95's at #3. Fatal Fury Special's at #4. Is this a hidden gem? A hidden red gem? No, it's a hidden blue gem. Yeah, when we get to this point where where it's like near the top, like we have to make this stuff official. Like, as much as I want to like just exercise my power to just veto everything and just put it at #1. I know I can't do that. On my list, though, it's #1. Like, there's nothing topping it. On my list, personally. Like, there's no way, there's nowhere to go from there. But not everybody agrees. Okay, we're gonna have to, How are we gonna narrow this down? We might need, like, multiple votes. Hi, don't make me come in there. Swear to God. I mean, most of us... there's a pretty clear consensus this should be in the top 5. So let's say... It pains me to type these other options in. I should have just ended it at number 1. We'll put 5+ if you have no joy in your heart and you believe it should not be in the top 5. I mean, there's definitely a lot of... I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of BBH factor here. Like, if anybody else was doing this stream, like... It might be in the top 10, but it probably wouldn't be as high as it was, but it's been on me to, like, spread the gospel of this game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Well, it is... Oh, right, I can't, I have to, like, recapture the chat window to do that. Well, you can take my word for it. Voting ended up as number 2 with 39% of the votes, number 1 with 25%, number 3 with 18%, number 5+ with 11%, number 4 with 7%. This was your chance for democracy. I can't type this in. I can't make it. JCW, you're gonna have to do this for me. I can't do it. My hand's shaking. I can't do it. I cannot self-terminate. It's not number 1. It's not number 1. I mean, I kind of figured this was going to happen. Oh, it's happening right before my eyes. On an official BBH stream. But hey, number 2 is pretty good. Number 2. Shouldn't say that. Alright. Why is my hotkey not working? Fuck. So go back to OBS to do this. There we go. I could override it, but nah. I wanted you guys to have a part. It's democracy in action. Right? Make sure to... Oh wait, I need to do this. Make sure this isn't frozen when I come back to it. Well, yeah, the playthrough is going to be, obviously I'll put it on YouTube in a couple days. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I I hinted at earlier what I want to do like later this week. For like my Thursday stream, I finally got RetroArch like running. Fucking impossible emulator for aliens. Finally got it running like without like dropping frames everywhere. And like I was like looking at like the whole retro achievements thing where they make up achievements for like, you know, old games that don't have them. And there's a page for Shock Troopers on retro achievements, and so I see that and I'm like, maybe I should do that. And the whole thing with that is like you have to finish the game with every character in Lonely Wolf. So on Thursday I'm gonna go for like 8 1cc's in a row with like every character. You don't have to 1cc it, you just have to finish it. Like you can just credit feed through it and it gives you the achievement or whatever. But we're gonna try to do 8 1cc's in a row. And then people will shut the fuck up about Jackal. That's all I keep hearing. I've done it before. I'll do it again.